Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk really briefly about Schizandra berries, and Schizandra berries are one of my favorite herbs, and even though they aren't technically an herb per se, they are a berry, they are considered herbs in herbal literature and whatnot to keep things simple and to keep them able to be categorized. So, Schizandra berries are one of the primary tonic herbs in the traditional Chinese medicine system. They harbor all five flavors: sweet, sour, salty, pungent, and bitter. And because of that, they also stimulate all five major organ systems in the traditional Chinese medicine system. The Schizandra is said to slip into the 12 main meridian systems of the human body. And it's also said that it can actually bypass into the extraordinary spiritual channels and also stimulate the three Dantian energy points within the cerebral spinal system. So this is considered a very spiritual tonic. This is considered a very spiritual food, an herb in parts of Asia. It's considered a profound tonic by many people, and many people consume this regularly. In certain parts of the world, it is commonplace to do what's known as the 100-day Schizandra reset or challenge, where you take Schizandra for 100 days without fail. And if you do fail, you have to start the 100 days again. So it's actually a good thing to fail because it makes you have to repeat the clock over and over, which just means you're going to get more Schizandra in your system, which is very, very good for the liver, ladies and gentlemen. It stimulates stage 1 and stage 2 liver detoxification. It's high in constituents known as lignans. It helps the body produce glutathione, which is a powerful antioxidant. Schizandra is primarily a liver tonic and a mental tonic, although it does indeed affect the gastrointestinal system in a very beneficial way. It provides powerful antioxidants. It has anti-inflammatory constituents. It has schizandrins in it, schizandracides, and a handful of other powerful components that lend to it's considered a king in Chinese medicine, ladies and gentlemen. It's known by Sung Jing Park, the teacher of, it's referred to the quintessence of healing by the master Taoist Sung Jing Park. So Schizandra, I have some here, and I'm recording this in black and white, unfortunately, so that the upload time doesn't take forever. But this is the Wanafu brand Schizandra berries. I have these in my Amazon store. These are incredibly fresh, ladies and gentlemen. At least this batch was. And they smell amazing. They're aromatic. They have a very stimulating scent to them and a very stimulating flavor. Again, this berry is known as the 5-flavored berry because it has sweet, sour, salty, pungent, and bitter flavors. It's also known as Wu Wei Jia. Schizandra berries are, and sometimes it's spelled with an S like you see here, and sometimes it's spelled with a Z where this second S is here. Schizandra. This is often mixed with lycium, also known as goji, ladies and gentlemen, and when you have quality goji and you mix it with quality Schizandra, you have a very, very beneficial tonic there, or an elixir. It's often made into a tincture as well, Schizandra and goji. And you can also mix Schizandra with astragalus root, and that has some amazing properties as well. I am currently in the process of formulating a Schizandra tincture, a vegetable or a non-alcoholic tincture that is composed of Schizandra and a few other constituents, and I will let you guys know in the future if I end up making that available for purchase. I've been using Schizandra for years. After I stumbled across, I can't even remember when my first Schizandra dose was, but I do remember that the first time I took it, I was overwhelmed with the adaptogenic state of consciousness that it induces. At least it induces it in me, and many other people that use this say the same thing, that it just makes you feel better. It makes issues in life that normally would get under your skin just kind of roll off your back. You just have more of a carefree attitude towards little things in life that would normally irritate people. And that's a very beneficial thing, ladies and gentlemen, because stress is a silent killer. Stress affects your peace of mind. And when you don't have peace of mind, you're kind of always in a fight or flight kind of consciousness, and you're producing massive amounts of just this adrenaline and cortisol consciousness. So reducing stress, ladies and gentlemen, is very important. And if we can incorporate certain foods into our lives that help us reduce stress, then that's a very powerful thing. So I eat, ladies and gentlemen, to improve my life. I look at food as fuel. I don't look at it as recreation like most Americans do, but what's nice about nature and these foods that actually help our minds and our bodies grow and that help us get younger and that help us de-stress, nature has designed these foods that once you get used to them, they taste better than the junk foods. So it's just a matter of retraining your palate, retraining your mind, and retraining your life to constantly bring you, what am I trying to get at here? Excuse me, folks. You want to retrain your palate. You want to retrain your mind to only do things that bring you benefit, that enhance your life. Because once you enhance your life, when you constantly regenerate yourself and put foods into your system that help you grow, your mind's going to expand and you're going to be able to do more in your life. You're going to be able to reach more people. You're going to be able to help more people, and you're going to be able to become more clear about what your actual life's mission is. So Schisandra is a profound mental tonic. It's regarded as a profound mental elixir, ladies and gentlemen. It's good for the memory. It's also great for the skin. Now, I wanted to talk briefly about the best way to actually consume Schisandra. Now, I said just recently that my first dose of Schisandra, I was overwhelmed with the adaptogenic qualities of it and how it made me feel better. Now, for those who don't know, adaptogens, ladies and gentlemen, are things that help our bodies and minds adapt with our environment and the stress of them and the stress of just life in general. Adaptogen, it helps us adapt. But I was overwhelmed with how much peace of mind that instilled into me, and it motivated me to continue experimenting with Schisandra, using it daily and whatnot. And eventually I became curious as to whether or not the effects would be multiplied if I ground the Schisandra berries into a fine powder or a coarse powder with a coffee grinder. One day I was making some of my tea with my electric kettle, and as I put the berries into the electric kettle, I went, damn it, maybe I should have ground those. My coffee grinder was off to the side of the kettle. So I almost immediately just took the coffee grinder, cleaned it out to get any coffee grounds out of it, and ground some Schisandra. And when I brewed that Schisandra with the ground up berries, I noticed immediately that the color was much different. Now, Schisandra, when you brew it with just the plain berries, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be clear. The tea, the water that you brew the tea with, it'll be clear. You'll be able to see through the glass. It'll be kind of a pinkish color. Now, if you grind those berries, folks, and then brew it, it'll produce a beautiful grapefruit, ruby grapefruit, kind of a pink color. And you won't be able to see through the glass depending on how strong you brew it. Even if you brew like small amounts of the tea, usually you can't see through the water if you brew it with ground berries. If you brew Schisandra with ground berries, you will unlock more. I would say you will get 60 to 70 percent more benefit from doing it that way than actually drinking it just as whole berries. And that's fine too. In fact, most of the clients that I work with and people who contact me about Schisandra, I always recommend that if you've never used it before, just make a pot of Schisandra with regular berries. Boil them for about 3 to 5 minutes, turn it off and let it sit till it cools. Then strain that and drink about a half a cup and go from there, because it does produce not necessarily an altered state of consciousness, but it can be felt. And some people find it overstimulating. So you start off with the normal berries, but if you're a seasoned user like I am, I grind the berries, and you just get more bang for your buck as well, because you're unlocking so much more of the nutritional profile from the berry. And Schisandra is not necessarily the cheapest thing in the world. A 4-ounce bag is about $13 typically, unless you're getting it from particular sources. And I'll talk more about that in just a second. But it's not necessarily the cheapest thing in the world. But if you grind a tablespoon of berries, you will get so much more out of that than just a tablespoon of the non-ground berries, because you're effectively breaking open the berry and unlocking the power of the seed, and you're getting all those essential oils out, and you're increasing the surface area. And if you can expose the boiling water to more of the berry's surface area, you will effectively leach more out of it. So again, Schisandra also, ladies and gentlemen, aside from its adaptogenic qualities, it actually stimulates, nourishes, balances, and tonifies what's known in traditional Chinese medicine as the 3 treasures, which are your Jing, which is your primal essence, essentially, your Qi or Qi, which is your vitality, and your Shen, which is your spirit. Now, I'm in the process of gathering information to talk extensively or make a video about the 3 treasures of healing, because to just summarize them with one word, like, your primal essence or your vitality or your spirit. That's very, that's so super simplified that it almost discredits the each of the treasures. I hope that makes sense. So look forward to a video in the near future about each of the treasures, because people keep asking me about what they are and how they work. But essentially, you can think of the three treasures, and there's a great metaphor, the candle metaphor. And I can't remember where I found this metaphor of the three treasures. It might have been on the Dragon Herbs catalog, dragonherbs.com. Amazing place to find great herbs, ladies and gentlemen. Just throwing that out there. I don't make money from them or anything. I just believe in their products. They have an excellent line of powerful healing tools and health-related tools that we can use in such a sick world. But you can think of your Jing, which is one of the treasures, as the body of the candle, the wax. You can think of the Qi as the flame and how quickly it burns through the wax. And you can think of the light that emanates from the candle as the Shen, or your spirit. Now, depending on how quickly you burn through your Qi will dictate how readily your wax or your body, gets ill or gets weakened, so to speak. So we want things that keep our Qi to burn adequately, so that the flame produces enough light, your illumination, your consciousness, your connection to spirit, but you don't want it to burn through your wax incredibly rapidly, if that makes sense. So again, I'll make a video just on the candle metaphor as well, because I want to get some notes together. And I can't recall all this stuff off the top of my head because it's been a while since I've looked at that stuff. But foods that invoke Qi within us, ladies and gentlemen. Qi is essential. We need to consume foods, and Qi is one of the three treasures. We need foods that give our bodies more Qi. When we consume foods that are high in Qi or Qi, it transfers that and weaves it into our system through a process known as the humanizing factor. And you can replenish your Jing reserves, which is your essence, your primal essence, by working with foods that are high in Qi and working with foods that are high in Jing as well. So I don't really want to get into the three treasures, but I just wanted to say that Schisandra is profound because it stimulates, nourishes, tonifies, and balances the three treasures. So it stimulates your Jing, it stimulates your Qi or your Qi, it stimulates your Shen. Another profound Jing tonic, ladies and gentlemen, and again, Jing is like your primal essence, has a lot to do with your genetics, your lifespan, you name it. When you're low on Jing, you get weak. A profound Jing tonic, at least according to traditional Chinese medicine and the tonic herbs system, the philosophy of that system is something known as Ho Shu Wo or Hu Shu Wu, which I believe translates to his black hair. And there's a really fascinating story about that stuff. And I'll make a video on that in the near future. But Schisandra, ladies and gentlemen, helps tonify the three primordial energies that constitute who you are: your spirit, your Shen, your Qi, which is your vitality, and your Jing, which is your essence. So this brand, ladies and gentlemen, on Amazon, I have these in my Amazon store. These are incredibly fresh, aromatic, delicious, tart berries. And you can definitely note all 5 flavors in them: sweet, sour, salty, pungent, and bitter. The more you consume Schisandra, the more you'll develop a taste for it. But these berries, you guys, are, at least this batch, are incredibly fresh. And if you run these through a coffee grinder, I'm not sure if it'll gum it up and bind the motor. It might. Schisandra, if it's drier, is much easier to grind in a coffee grinder, and you can leave these berries out for a while to dry them up, but I'm really enjoying them fresh like this. So when I buy a batch of Schisandra and the berries are really fresh, what I'll do is, instead of using the electric coffee grinder, I will take a handheld coffee grinder and grind them by hand. And it'll gum the grinder up a little bit, and you've kind of got to get in there with I have a little piece of I have a safety clip or a safety pin that I use to get in there and pull all the residual goo out. But it takes some time and it takes some effort, but slowly but surely you can effectively grind fresh berries up. And wow, is the flavor enhanced that way, and wow, is the stimulating effect so much more prevalent if you grind the berries, ladies and gentlemen. So this is something that I don't see a lot of people doing. I see a lot of people on YouTube and whatnot just consuming the whole berries in a tea, and that's fine. But if you want to get more out of it, grind it. And I also want to say that I would definitely, looks like my camera's glitching. All right, folks, welcome back. I had some technical difficulties with my computer, but to summarize things, Schisandra is an incredible tonic. It is something that just makes you feel clean from the inside out. In my opinion, it stimulates not only the physical body, but the energetic body, the auric levels of our consciousness in our physical body. It stimulates the meridians, which are directly connected to the astral plane and have connection to the more subtle levels of our existence, folks. So Schisandra is something that I like to consume regularly. If I can afford it, I'm consuming it every day. Now, that may not be best for everyone, but I think most people could probably benefit greatly by doing what I mentioned earlier in the video, the 100-day reset with Schisandra, which is 100 days of Schisandra. And if you mess up, you do it for another 100 days until you get it right. But this brand is incredible. I have these on my Amazon store. I would have the Dragon Herbs Schisandra on my Amazon store as well, but they don't currently have it on Amazon. They have the, I have their formulas, the capsuled like mixtures on my Amazon store, because those are available on Amazon, the Dragon Herbs formulas, but their raw berries are not. And you can go to dragonherbs.com and it's like $10 for 6 ounces of berries, which is actually a really, really good deal. When I do that, I usually buy 4 to 6 bags just so I have them, because they do run out quickly and oftentimes it's a while until they get new stock. So, you know, a lot of people are consuming, and I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last video, a lot of people are consuming powdered Schisandra. I don't recommend that. I think a lot of the powdered Schisandra on the market is rancid. I just don't think it has much nutritional profile. You look at the powder and it looks nothing like Schisandra looks when you powder it at home, and it's like this brown color, most of the powdered Schisandra I've seen on the market, and it smells off and it doesn't taste like Schisandra, so that's kind of weird to me. I've consumed enough Schisandra over the years to know what it should and shouldn't taste like, and I know what it should look like as well. So crudely ground Schisandra or finely ground Schisandra with a coffee grinder is your way to go, and do that with fresh berries. That way you get the most out of it, folks. You want to get the most bang for your buck, and you're only going to do that if you get the actual berries, or if you get, there's legitimate Schisandra extracts on the market and formulas that come in capsules. But for that, I would go through Dragon Herbs. And, I've bought bulk powdered Schisandra online from Amazon before. Some of it's okay, but most of it just isn't, and I don't recommend doing that. I did that when I was younger because I was in an experimental phase. And nowadays, I just consume it as a tea, and occasionally, a few times a year, I will consume it as a tincture, and I will consume it as in encapsulated form. And I'm currently, again, in the process of making my own alcohol-free Schisandra tincture with a few other very potent herbs, and I will keep you guys updated on that in the near future, because that is potentially something that I would love to start selling. But the role of this video is just to essentially talk about the proper way to brew it, which is hand ground, or grind your own with a coffee grinder. Don't buy the pre-ground stuff. It's questionable. I don't even think most of it's Schisandra. You don't get the high from it. You don't get the mental clarity from a lot of the pre-ground stuff, and it just tastes like ass. But again, I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. Peace be with you all. I wanted to personally thank you for watching my videos and contributing to the growth of my channel. I could not do this without you, and your interest in my content is truly what motivates me and fuels my passion for making these videos and spreading my message. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wanted to remind you that this channel is a free educational tool that is listener supported, and if you would like to donate to my channel and donate to my cause, help make my life a little bit easier and help keep the lights on around here, you can do so by checking out the links in the description box below. There's a handful of not only ways to donate to my channel, but I also have links to different websites and different videos of mine, as well as my Amazon store, where you can check out a plethora of different health-related products that I use and recommend. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued interest in my message, and until next time, peace be with you all.